Alright, now it's time for the important settings. Let's do it. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my brand new controller settings that I just started using. I'm not really one to make a whole lot of these settings videos, but my settings have changed since my last one. And so many of you have been asking for my new settings in a video, so I guess here we are. Today, I'm also going to be going over my controller binds to show you exactly how I build and edit, as well as I will be pulling out the hand cam to show you all on my new controller. But just before the video starts, if you could drop a like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. As well as if you use code Flea in the item shop, it actually doubles your edit speed. Trust me, I'm a physiotherapist. Nah, but anyway, let's get right into it. Alright, so we just loaded into creative and I'm just going to load up my editing dictionary map just because I really want to emphasize editing in this settings video. So I'm really going to show you how I edit with a hand cam, because I feel like that's the most requested thing on my channel is so many people watch my hand cams and they just don't understand how I edit so fast, even on 53 ping. But nonetheless, let's jump right in here. And as soon as you spawn in, if you just press the supported creator button and press square, that's all you have to do to support me as a creator, and I really appreciate it. Alright, so here we are on probably one of the best edit practice maps in the game. I'm not gonna lie here, this map is pretty cool, so I'm just gonna hit that to bring it back to sunset, go in here, and I'm gonna get right into my settings. So I've just relocated my webcam up to the top right, so it doesn't cover any of the settings here. I'm not gonna spend too much time on all these boring settings, I'm just gonna fly over them really quickly. So the first thing you probably notice is my FPS is 60. It's not, it's actually 237. For those of you that don't know, I am controller on PC, and when you're on PC, you can actually change your frames. So I've actually capped my FPS at 237 in the game files, and when you do that, it just says 60. Brightness, contrast, no colorblind, none of that. All my settings are most of the time on low, and the rest is pretty straightforward. Coming over to the next tab, bam, 53 ping. As most of you should know by now, my ping does sit around 50 to 60. Scrolling down here, toggle sprint is off, but sprint by default is on. Now, if you don't use sprint by default, I literally do not know what you're doing. Sprint by default basically means that when you want to sprint, all you got to do is push forward. So it means you don't actually have to click in the sprint button to sprint, and that frees up that bind, and you can bind that to something else. This is actually huge. Ever since I changed to sprint by default, I've actually used my sprint bind as switch mode, and it's so much better. Also, another important setting here is auto open doors. Now, if you mainly play creative, I recommend you having that setting on, because as a creative player, if you do happen to fail this 3 square edit and instead you only go down 2 squares, it still allows you to automatically open the door. So if you fail edits, you will keep your momentum. But if you don't play mainly creative, sometimes auto open doors can get you killed, because you might want to do an edit and instead your player does the animation, and while you're doing the door animation, it doesn't actually let you cancel it. As well as if you're fighting someone inside a house or building, you can't actually use doors to your advantage in fights, because as soon as you get too close to a door, it automatically opens it. And obviously if your enemy's waiting on the other side, you've accidentally opened the door, and that can result in losing the fight. Now, these settings coming down here is all just personal preference. Obviously you want turbo building on, and now confirm edit on release. Let's talk about this for a second. So I did actually make a video trying confirm edit on release, and honestly, I was just trying it to see how it is, and I was trying it for content. But after that video, I'm not even kidding, I turned it off I think once, and then I had to turn it back on just because how fast it made my edit speed. Confirm edit on release with double edit binds is literally the fastest way to have the best edits on controller. Don't get me wrong, confirm edit on release on its own is good, but if you're already someone that uses double edit binds, I highly recommend trying confirm edit on release as well. And I still use double edit binds to actually edit, but for some reason having the confirm edit on release setting with double binds actually makes your edits so much faster. Don't ask me why, I literally cannot tell you because I have no idea, but there's a reason why I haven't turned it off. It's really good, you should definitely try it. Now this next tab, we just have all the HUD settings, nothing special here. I do change my HUD settings going from Battle Royale to Creative, but mouse and keyboard settings, don't play on mouse and keyboard. And now here's where we get to the important part. Starting off with vibration, definitely turn this off unless you have a controller like the Astro C40 where you can turn the vibration down. It would would be really cool to see Fortnite implement a vibration setting to turn it higher or lower, because I probably would play on vibration if it wasn't so strong. Like when you turn on vibration and build, it's literally, it feels so weird. But because the vibration's so strong, I just prefer to have it off. Alright, so starting off, as you can see, I run a 50% on X and Y sensitivities, and my build and edit mode is 2.4 and 2.4. Now you're probably wondering how I got here. Let me explain. So about 3 weeks ago, I did try phase sway settings, and he runs a 46 with a 2.2 and 2.3. So as you can see, very similar to what I'm using now. But before I switched to phase sway settings, I was running like way up in the 70s, thinking that because my sensitivity is faster, it means I'm going to be able to build and edit faster, when in reality, the meta is actually playing a low sensitivity and running a high build and edit. Another player I did look into is Scoped, and he runs a 47 with a 2.6 build and edit, which is pretty much almost the exact same as phase sways. So like all these insanely good and mechanical controller players are basically all running the same sensitivity. And here I am thinking, wait a minute, why don't I just literally copy their sensitivity and then from there tweak it a little bit so it suits my playstyle? And well, that's what I've come to. So as you can see, these are my controller settings. This is my ADS look horizontal and vertical speeds, so very low as well. And I actually researched a lot of controller players settings because I really wanted to know like what everyone was running. You know, is everyone just using like the same settings? And one thing that everyone had in common is no one uses any boosts on any of their sensitivities. Boosts are a big no-no for settings, so definitely don't use them. I also will say that most controller players do run linear except for unknown. And yeah, just keeping my dead zone at 10 and 5. Once again, I recommend you run the lowest right stick dead zone in order to have the best aim possible. And my enable foot controller is now off. A lot of people ask me, Flea, like why don't you use the foot controller anymore? And yeah, I'm not really too sure. Like I was using it for a long time at first. I honestly think it's like one of those settings that does nothing, but like it does something. Like I don't really get it. I just keep it off. And yeah, so that is going to be about it for controller settings. We just got sound settings here, nothing special. Keyboard, don't even use keyboard. And now here we get into the important part. Now, first things first, you're probably like, Flea, why are you on an Xbox controller? I'm not. As you can see, I'm using a PS4 controller. For some reason, I just like using the Xbox config. Once again, it's like the foot controller thing where I feel like it decreases input delay, but like it does, but it doesn't. Honestly, just a placebo thing, but I am going to keep it on Xbox anyway. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to swap it to PS4 just so I can explain my binds. Alright, and here we are all set up on the hand cam. As you can see, I still got that little grippy thing on the left stick, and I do have a Control Freak Galaxy on the right stick. If you are looking to purchase some Control Freaks, just wait about 2 weeks. Not going to say why, but let's get right into these controller binds. So I'm not going to spend too long on these front binds here. You can see them right here if you want to, because today I'm mainly going to be focusing on my edit binds. So they're my combat controls. These are my build controls. And then let's get right into the edit controls. So as you can see, I'm actually a really big fan of my edit binds. Like they aren't the best by any means, but they are pretty good. So we have L1 reset, R1 as select, R2 as confirm, and my touchpad is edit. So I'm just gonna jump in, do some editing and explain why. Basically, starting off with my edit bind, the reason I like touchpad edit is just because I play claw, and you don't even need to play like a really serious claw. Like my left hand isn't like all scrunched up or anything. Like it's just chilling over on the touchpad right here, and it's not actually that hard to do. Even if you're not a claw player, it's actually really easy to get used to. So as you can see, just editing right now, touchpad edit is actually really easy to get used to. The really cool thing about touchpad edit is that everyone does it differently. So me personally, I like to edit here, but some people like to edit up here. And if you want to, you can even press the top of the touchpad up here. As well as if you want to, you can even claw the right side and use your right finger. So it's a really diverse button. I highly recommend it for editing. And for my select button, it's actually R1. So instead of using R2, which is what most people use, actually use R1. It's just a lot quicker button to press than R2. I do have trigger stoppers though on my controller, so to be honest, it wouldn't actually matter whether I use R1 or R2, but I got so used to R1, it's actually a really good button to edit because it's just a lot quicker to press. And then because I select with R1, I actually like to confirm with R2, so I use my index finger and middle finger like this, and basically I just roll my fingers like that, and that's how I use my select and confirm. So I just roll the fingers like that. So if I show you real quick, I'll just go ahead and place down a pyramid here. Basically what I'm doing every time I edit is I edit with the touchpad, and then it's just, I roll my fingers like that. And then practicing that, getting faster and faster, you can eventually get really fast with it, especially for my ping. So not bad for a 50-60 ping player editing this fast. So as you can see, I'm keeping my movements really small. Really good sensitivity here. And it's the same with resetting builds. So basically if I want to reset something, it's just that my edit button, my reset, which is L1, and then confirm, which is R2. So a fast reset would pretty much look like bang, bang, bang. If I do it quicker, it's just that. So it's almost like an instant reset, as you can see. So right here, I've set up a bunch of resets, and basically what this looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not bad. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Definitely go check out this edit map if you do want to become a lot faster editor. I actually really like my new settings. I feel like playing a lower sensitivity has made me a lot more consistent. If you did make it to the end of the video, drop a blue heart in the comments so I know you did. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.